Hello and good evening. I'm Katie McManus, business strategist and money mindset coach for ADHD business owners who want to make more money in less time with fewer distractions. Welcome to my live tonight. I'm going live on the Facebooks, on LinkedIn, on YouTube, and on Instagram, where so exciting, we can now go live through StreamYard. And let me just see over here. It was a little delayed though, so I can't actually really see what's going on over there. It's okay. It'll all work out. Anyway, today I'm very excited about the topic. So I was training my BYOB Build Your Own Business beginner group this afternoon on how to go live, best practices, showing them exactly how to use StreamYard, talking through the arc of what you're supposed to talk about. And, actually this live that I'm doing right now I was showing them how to schedule something. And I thought, okay, well, if I'm scheduling something, I might as well just schedule it. And I asked them what topic I should do it on. And they're like, can you go over, best practices for lives so that they can get like a re-up? So welcome you as a viewer right now. You are a guest in the BYOB program. Okay. So I'm going to be going over some of the tips and tricks that I like to teach my clients because let's face it. Okay. Going live is really scary when you've never done it before. It's basically public speaking, but to an audience that you don't know how large it is. You don't know how many people are watching all over the world. It's saved. It's video that's captured. This video will be captured on my Facebooks, on LinkedIn, on YouTube. And if I choose to save it on Instagram, it just takes a couple more steps. But it will live on forever on the interwebs unless I do something about it. And so the stakes can be very high. Okay. So a lot of people, when they think about going live, they are afraid that they're going to screw things up. They're terrified that people are going to judge them for not being good enough. They're worried that they're going to be boring. Some people also worried that accidentally something that's going to be cancel worthy is going to come out of their mouth hole. Which, unless you're like a racist, a bigot, a terrible human being, probably there's nothing that's going to come out of your mouth that's going to get you canceled. And even that, there's some assholes out there who say terrible things on the interwebs and, they don't get canceled. So who knows, you could slip up and say a weird thing that gets misconstrued in a weird way. You're probably not going to get canceled. And also, let's remember, okay, there are very few mistakes that you can make in this life that are unrepairable, okay, or irreparable. That would be the word. There are very few mistakes you can make in this life that are irreparable, okay? Killing someone or unaliving them, probably one of them. Doing really damaging illegal things. Also, those are things that you can't do on a live. Okay. There's nothing you could do here that's really going to crash and burn everything. But here's the thing about going live. It is one of the best tools that you have as a modern digital business owner. Hell, if you are in sales, if you're in marketing, you work for a company, going live is absolutely incredible. If I still worked for a company, I did a lot of lead gen. I was a closer. If I still worked in sales, I would be going live twice a week to my prospects. And I would absolutely be doing a live show talking about my product and the services that I was repping. It is absolutely incredible. I've had people get onto sales calls with me after I've done I used to do months, and I haven't done one in a while, so I should do that soon. I used to do months where I would do a live every single day. I've gotten on sales calls with people who not only showed up to the live every single day, didn't comment, didn't they were just kind of there in the background. But they told me when they got on the phone with me for a sales call that they had watched every single live, which at this point is impossible. Okay. There's 500 hours worth of lives that are saved on YouTube. please don't watch them all. Okay. For your own sake, you don't need to watch them all. Watch like a handful. And if you want to talk to me and work with me, we can talk about that. There's nothing I covered in my life that I don't tell my clients when they work with me. All right. They got on the call with me and they said, Hey, listen, I listened to everything you said. I watched every single live you ever did. And I didn't get on the phone with you to say no. I got on the phone with you because I need to work with you. And that is the power of going live. All right. Now, there are some guardrails. There are some the training wheels, if you will, of going live. First and foremost, and I've had a couple clients who've gotten stuck into this rut, and it's really hard to get out of when you start doing it because it kind of becomes your style. Going live by yourself can be very nerve-wracking. Okay. It took me time to be comfortable doing this. Okay. During the pandemic, especially in the very, very early days of the pandemic, I would go live on Facebook, and I was terrible. I was absolutely terrible. I didn't really know what to talk about. I didn't really know like where to look. Should I look at the comments? Should I look at the camera? My coach at the time told me to like just go on walks and like go live while on the walk. And like, I don't know. It wasn't good. All right. It wasn't good, but it wasn't good. And I didn't die. Like I got through the pain of, oh my God, this is so bad. And I didn't die. And that's really the magic of starting it, doing it, practicing it, and just putting yourself out there. The first, like, especially as you're just starting out and you have a smaller audience. I mean, the beautiful thing about marketing yourself online is that no one's paying attention, right? No one's paying attention. So if you screw it up, no one's likely to see it. Also, like, if you're bad on your live, if you're not entertaining, people are going to watch for a second and be like, never mind, I don't really want to watch this. So that's fine. No one's going to see it. But what's going to happen is your nervous system, which is going to go absolutely haywire in the beginning, telling you, oh my God, like death, like this is going to like be the end of everything. People are going to, picket your house and, exile you from your town, and you're going to have to live in the woods, and you're going to starve. And maybe your kids and your dog are also going to starve with you. Your nervous system is going to go into the live by yourself and expect that. And that's not going to happen. And it's going to take a deep breath and relax, right? And then you're going to do it again. And again, it's going to feel like life or death. And then you're going to do it and nothing bad will happen. And again, you're going to relax until you get to the point where like you're still relaxed from last time. It feels natural. It feels fine. It feels just like another day in the office. All right. But you can't get there unless you start practicing doing lives from the get-go. I can speak. Now, one of the ruts that some of my clients in the past have gotten sucked into is, it's really nice when you first start out to do a live with someone. Like you do an interview, you have a guest. And sure, I mean, those are helpful. Like it's nice to have someone to talk to. You can, especially if they have something useful to say to your audience. However, what typically happens with that is they bring a guest onto their live and they ask them all these questions, and they're basically playing reporter, journalist. And this person's able to share all about their mission, vision, values, who they work with, the impacts they have. And that guest tends to get clients. That guest tends to get people DMing them from your audience saying, oh my God, I saw you on so-and-so's live and I loved what you had to say. I want to talk to you. Now, the person who was doing the live, who had the guest, after a while of this and after a while of not getting clients, they start wondering, what am I doing wrong? It's like, well, what you're doing wrong is you're highlighting someone else and you're not highlighting yourself. One of the scariest things that business owners have to do is promote themselves. And there's the gross way to do it. Absolutely. Where you can rent out a private jet and do like a whole little photo shoot, and you can get like piles of fake money and just like make it rain and, drink champagne and like spray it all over, although the cleaning fee on the private jet would probably be a little expensive for that. You can rent fancy bags. You can make yourself look really, really successful. And then you can tell everyone, hey, I'm the greatest person in the world. Or you can do what I train in my Build Your Own Business Group program, which is called empathetic marketing, where you're basically saying, hey, you, I see you. And here's what you're afraid of right now. And I know this because I talk to people like you all the time who are struggling with this, and they really, really want this. And I think you want that too. And by the way, if you want help getting it, then that's what I do with my clients. Come and book a call with me. It's gentle, it's kind, it's empathetic. You're not playing doomsday. You're not saying if you keep doing it this way, like your life is going to crash and burn. No, you're just saying like, here's how you're feeling right now. And if you're ready to make a change, that's what I do with my clients. And you also don't have to brag on yourself. You don't have to, bang your own drum, which to that end, like it's not wrong to brag on yourself. Kind of a side note, like bragging in its purest form is simply telling the universe, thank you so much for what you gave me. I would love more of it. Right? That's it. That's what bragging is. I think bragging gets a bad rap because some people do it in a way that they brag in order to make other people feel small. That's not bragging. That's being an asshole. Okay. It's different. Right now. Okay. So going live, there are so many things that can go wrong on live. So first and foremost is technology. Technology is flawed. Technology can go wrong sometimes. Sometimes you're on StreamYard. No one's commented, and sometimes, and that might actually be happening right now, sometimes the comments just do not come through. And in that case, you're just kind of going live to yourself in what you think is an echo chamber. The interesting thing about StreamYard also, and this is specific to StreamYard, I'm not sure about other streaming platforms, but the little eye in the corner for me at least shows 0. And that's because StreamYard can't read the viewership from multiple platforms. So I might have a bunch of viewers on Facebook, on my private page, and on my professional page, and on my LinkedIn, and on YouTube, and on Instagram. StreamYard can't read it. Occasionally it'll show 1. Maybe it's reading from, I think it's probably reading from YouTube because I have the smallest following there. But that feels really weird when you're going live and you feel like no one's watching. All right. Deep breath. Okay. Maybe no one's watching, but that's fine. Okay. They're going to watch it later. Okay. This video can live on as long as you want it to be up. Okay. You can always go and delete it later. Likewise, there's a bunch of shit that can happen. You can forget what you're talking about. You can stumble over your words. You can stutter. You can stammer. I do those things all the time. Something in your environment could happen. Your dog could have like their stomach meltdown on the floor next to you. And like you either have to like end it and go clean it up or just kind of deal with it. Like we're humans in a world that doesn't always go perfectly. There's so many things that can go wrong. No one's holding you to the standard of this being a TV show. Right? If this were the news and the news anchor was like, oh my God, my dog just threw up, I have to go deal with this. We think, well, this isn't very professional. They should probably have someone in the background who's taking care of the dog. You going live from your home office, from your living room, from your kitchen, from your car, wherever you're going live, no one's holding you to the standard of it being glossed up, of it being perfect, right? It's just you. Also, like, it doesn't have to be scripted. This is actually something I advise against with my clients. I'm going to be going into the 5 tips about, how you can do this really well. But when you script yourself, it gets really crunchy because you like feel like you have to follow along perfectly. And when you fail at the script, that's when people start getting really freaked out. I have had numerous clients who were terrified of going live. And when they started doing it, when they started doing it consistently, they started getting clients from it. They started getting a following. They started getting people who really believed in them, who trusted them. Because the beautiful thing about doing something live where you don't have a chance to edit it, where you're going to make mistakes, where things can go wrong, where you have potential people commenting and asking questions and you're interacting with them, is people get to see who you are. Right. And if you do it more often, they get to see who you are and see that it's consistent. All right. It's one of the best ways to build trust. All right. So you can build trust this way. You can get clients. That's one of the ways I get clients. It's how a lot of my clients get clients. And it's also a great way to improve your public speaking because it is public speaking, essentially. It's public speaking on the fly, right? The best part about public speaking on live is you get to wear pajama pants It's amazing. It's very comfortable. Okay, so I want to go over the 5 tips that are going to help you overcome a lot of your fears, a lot of your hesitations, that what if monster that likes getting up in your grill and telling you all the things that can go wrong. There's one more thing that I did, and this is just so you know, like this is the most amount of notes that I usually do for a live. Usually I just do like 3 words that kind of cues like different topics in my head. I don't go live on things that I don't know a lot about. All right. I highly recommend if there's like 3 things you know a lot about, go live on those 3 things over and over and over and over again. All right. Remember, no one's paying attention. Right. So if no one's paying attention, you have to put yourself out there even more to get their attention. But one thing I forgot to put on my notes is like one of the most nerve-wracking things, and this happens to me. One of the most nerve-wracking things is you'll be in a live and a guy you dated or a girl you dated or a person you dated will show up in the comments while you're there. And you just kind of have to like be okay with the fact that they're watching. I don't know if you guys can ever tell when because I love it being interactive. I love when people show up in the comments. But I don't know, you probably can't tell when I like see a name and I'm like, oh, hey, you. It's just part of putting yourself out there. Like the people in the news are so lucky that they can't see who's watching. Anyway, the 5 tips of how to make going live easy, how to overcome all these fears, all these little challenges and potential things going wrong. I'm going to go over them right now. If you have any questions, like I said, I'd love this to be interactive. All right. So pop them in the chat. I'm not seeing your comment. It's not you. Sometimes the technology just does not work. Hi, Rest and Relax Boston. Hi, the Gazelle. Welcome. Hi, welcome. I just have to switch over to Instagram, I guess, to see you guys because it doesn't show up. I'm just going to rearrange my whole little desktop here so I can see stuff. All right. Beautiful. So first and foremost, I kind of already touched upon this, but do not script yourself. When you're going live, you're going to be live. Okay. Live doesn't work when you're like, so then this happened and oh shit, where did that go? Like that doesn't work for you. That's not going to work for you. It's not going to work for your audience. It's not going to be engaging to watch, right? So what I always like to recommend is give yourself an outline and just trust yourself to riff on it. If you're not comfortable doing that, something that you can do to prepare yourself for it is take an improv class. Honestly, yes, and the crap out of yourself. I've taken a ton of improv classes. They're a lot of fun and they help you just kind of dance on your feet, essentially. So you want to outline basically what you want to say. And I'll break this down for you. So humans are really weird. We don't like even numbers except for the number 10. So if you were to create a lead magnet or put out a webinar or put out a live, people are more likely to watch it or try to download it or sign up for it if it's an odd number. Okay, so someone is more likely to download a thing that's like the 3 top tips than they are the 4 top tips. So when you think about your outline, I want you to think of an odd number, 3 or 5, and go through what are 3 pain points that your clients go through. What are 3 big goals that they have? What are the 3 benefits to working with you, or the 5? And then you want to go through and you kind of want to explain them. So if it's a pain point, so for instance, all of my clients basically have a pain point that they struggle to get clients, right? And so one of the big pain points here is, yes, so that's the overarching topic. But one of the pain points can be, how do you explain what it is that you do and that you're doing well when you're not actually doing well? You start feeling this major imposter syndrome in social environments. Like when you're out to dinner with friends and they say, hey, how's your business going? And you have one client that's paying you $50 an hour twice a month. It's only $100 a month minus credit card charges and any other expenses you have for the business. Telling them it's going great when it's not going great really eats away at your soul. It makes you feel like you're being dishonest. It also, because you're kind of benchmarking yourself and saying, oh yeah, it's going great. And then you kind of slide back mentally into, oh my God, I'm crashing and burning. This isn't working out for me. The distance, like it feels so dissonant in your body. You can actually start self-sabotaging from that place, right? So, okay, so that's a whole little like one portion of the live is you can start self-sabotaging, right? And it's triggered by when people ask, how's it going? And then you come up with two others, right? The key is you want to relate to the person who's watching. You don't necessarily have to fix their problem. Because remember, like the person who's watching is probably watching it while they're doing their dishes or eating dinner, or they're playing with their dog, or they're on a walk. You know, hopefully they're not driving. That's not safe. If you're driving and watching, please don't watch, just listen. But that's to say, like, they're not fully paying attention. So if you were to like give them a whole lecture as to like, here's exactly how you do this, 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 and this, they're not going to capture it. Like they might think it's useful in the moment, but it's not actually going to help them. One of the things that I've learned through doing lives for years is that the thing that helps people the most is simply knowing that they're not the only one who's fucked up. That's it. Like we want to know that we're not the only one who's struggling with the things we're struggling with. And if you can just point to someone and say, hey, you, like what you're going through, you're not alone. I deal with this all the time. Like that's what a relief, because we all get in our own heads thinking, oh my God, I'm the only person who has a problem with this, right? We're not. Everyone has the same problems. Okay. We're not that creative, right? We're really boring animals. We all have the same problems, and it's, yeah. But we forget. And so when you go live, you just get to remind people that they're not alone. And not only in the problems, in the desires, in the goals, in the things that they want, they don't think is right for them to want. I can't tell you how many people I talk to who feel so much shame around like naming that they want to make $150,000 a year. In the United States, like that's just like a notch above middle class, right? You know, if you want to have like a decent life and you're living in a major city, like that's what you have to make. And yet, like people feel so much shame. So when I name it, I say like everyone has this shame around naming that big number for themselves, especially if they've worked in like nursing or teaching or something that like there was some kind of pride attached to getting underpaid and working more. People hear that and they're like, oh my God, I thought it was just me. It's okay. Like it's okay to want to make $150,000 a year. Okay. Like it's great. Let me see. Jet Set Yeti, welcome. Hello. Okay, so back to the point. You want to outline. You want to outline what you're going to say. You don't want to script it, right? Give yourself permission to ditch the outline, though. I can't tell you how many times like I've had an outline. I've gone on here to do a live, and I have my little outline, my little 3 to 5 things that I'm going to talk about. But then I start getting these incredible questions in the comments. And yeah, sure, I could stick to the outline, but I have actual humans who are right here, who want my advice, who want my take on certain things. Fuck this. I'm going to throw it out. Okay. You get to dance in the moment. You get to go follow your outline, or you get to really be with your people. I always vote be with your people over sticking to the plan. Okay. So that's number 1, outline, no script. Okay. Number 2, I always love preparing a story. And it doesn't have to be an elaborate story. It doesn't have to be a story where you're divulging any information about your clients. It could be a metaphor story. Okay. So like I make up metaphors all the time. I find some of them are more successful than others. Let me see. What's an example of a metaphor? So, okay. So like the pool party metaphor. All right. So here's a story. So there are 3 types of people who go to a pool party. All right. They're the Katie McManuses, who show up. They are wearing their bathing suit under their clothes. They kind of wave and say hello to everyone as they're kind of like stripping down to their bathing suit. They're not stripping down naked, stripping down to their bathing suit that's under their clothes. And they dive into the deep end, right? They're here to swim. They love swimming. They want to be in the pool. It's a hot day, like after they get wet and like after they're in the water for a bit, they'll come out, they'll have a snack, they'll have a drink, they'll like hang out with people, but then they're back in the pool. Right? These are the people who will see your post on social media and think, I need to hire them. And then they get on a sales call as fast as humanly possible. And the only thing you have to do on those sales calls is not fuck it up, because they've already decided they've hired you. All right. Yes, we all want the Katies of the world. That's how I buy stuff. Ask my podcast producer. That's exactly how I hired him. We all want the Katies in the world. Most of your clients won't be that way. All right. The second type of person who goes to a pool party, never getting in the pool. They didn't even bring a bathing suit. Okay. They came for the snacks and the company and to sit in the shade and maybe stick their feet in the water, but they're not getting fully in the pool. These are the people who will be in your comment section. They're going to be cheering you on. They're going to be so invested in your success. They may recommend you to people or refer potential clients to you. They're going to show up to all your webinars. They're going to sign up for all your stuff. They might download all of your freebies, but they're never going to pay you any money. They're not your clients. They are your cheerleaders. They are incredible. We love these people because they are butts in seats when we do webinars. And when you start doing webinars and only like 3 people show up, you're really grateful for those 2 people that are never going to buy for you because they're a butt in the seat. Hi, Motherlicious. Welcome. Anyway, so there's that kind of person. They're never going to buy from you. So we have the Katies who are going to buy just from your post. They're just going to make that decision and you don't have to really do any work. They're the people who are going to show up. They're never buying anything. The third type of person is who you have to design your business for. All right. You have to design all your marketing and your sales process for this person. So they come to the pool party and they have their bathing suit in their bag. And they're going to say hi to everyone and they're going to get a snack and they're going to get comfortable. They're going to get like acclimated to the environment. And then at some point they're going to go into the little loo, the little like changing room or bathroom, and they're going to change into their bathing suit and they're not going to dive into the deep end because they just had a snack, right? And you, like, if you jump in after you have a snack, like you could throw up and they don't want that. So, and they also like don't know if the water's too cold, right? They like need to ease their way in. They get it on the steps, right? And they get their feet used to the temperature and then their ankles and then their knees and then their thighs until they're like waist deep. And eventually they'll make it to the deep end, right? Those are the people that you need to create an experience for, right? You need to come up with lives and webinars and ways for them to experience you that are low pressure, right? Because otherwise they're not going to buy from you. Okay. These people will never see a post that you've written online and think, I need to just buy that thing. No, they need more time. They need more courting. They need to be wooed. They need a safe way to get into the pool that feels more aligned to them. All right. So like that's a metaphor, right? I'm talking about pool parties and marketing. That's the kind of story that you can tell in your lives. You do not have to. And of course, like you're not actually sharing like the how while you're doing it. You're just kind of like painting a picture of like, here's how the problem is set up, right? And people are going to listen to it and be like, oh my God, you're so right. Like I've experienced both sides of this, or maybe I'm this person, or maybe I'm that person. It's a way to like keep people entertained and also make a point at the same time. You can also do this with client success stories. You can do this with like your own personal story, but it's really, really helpful to have a story prepared for when you go live. If you're good at coming up with stuff on the fly, absolutely. But if you need to like write it down, go for it. So number 1, I'm just going to reiterate, don't do a script, use an outline like this. Number 2, prepare some kind of story to tell in the live. Number 3, perfect, repeat yourself. Okay. So you have people coming in and coming out and they're listening to, their toddler crying in the other room. They're picking up socks from the floor. They're making dinner. Their spouse is asking them a question. Maybe their dog like just pooped. They have to pick it up because they're on a walk. They're not tracking every single word you said. Okay. It's not a lecture in a classroom. This is something that like you need to repeat yourself. What are you here for right now? Welcome. We're talking about the 5 things that can help you be successful in lives and overcome all the problems and fears that can happen when you think about going live. I should be saying that way more often than I am, but I'm noticing the time we're already at a half hour and I want to get through this because, sure you love watching me and listening to me, but I want to get to bed at some point. Anyway, repeat yourself. repeat yourself, especially when you're going live on platforms like Instagram and TikTok. Repeat yourself. All right. Number 4. This one is actually really interesting engagement wise. So like invite engagement, but don't depend on it. This is one that I've recently had to stretch myself around because I've just started going live on TikTok. I'm not going live on TikTok right now because I wanted to do it this format. So when you're going live on platforms like LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, having like things prepared to talk about, and then like encouraging engagement, people commenting, and asking questions and like giving their 2 cents is great. But it's more about the thing that you've prepared to talk about, right? It can go off the rails and into like a conversation directly with your people. However, like you want it to be very firmly in here's the topic. All right. But like you can't depend on people commenting, right? Right now, like no one's commenting. I don't know if it's a technical issue, or if people are just like putting their kids to bed, or if this is just a weird time, or maybe the post that I wrote that was really short because it's not my norm wasn't enough to get people to come and watch this live. Any number of things could mean that people aren't commenting. That's fine. Maybe I have a bunch of like ex-boyfriends who are watching and I just called them out for commenting and told them it makes me nervous. Hi guys. Oh God, I hope it's not that. Don't comment if that's the case. But anyway, you cannot depend on engagement. I'm going to throw that advice out the window when it comes to TikTok. TikTok's a different animal. The good news about TikTok is you can't go live until you have 1,000 followers. If you're just starting your business, you probably don't have 1,000 followers there yet. Okay, so don't worry about that yet. This is very firmly in the LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram world. All right, so that's number 4. So let's reiterate. We're going to repeat ourselves. So number 1 is use an outline. Don't use a script. Okay, you want to be able to be versatile and banter with people. Number 2 is you want to prepare some kind of story. It could be a metaphor. It could be a client story. It could also be your personal story. Number 3, you want to repeat yourself, right? Because people are coming in and out and they might have missed the point. And if they missed the point, they may not know what you're talking about. Like right now, we're talking about going live. And these are the top 3 tips to help you be successful here and overcome your fears. Number 4, you want to invite engagement, but you don't want to rely on it. Okay. It would be really hard if I went live and I just like sat here and I'm like, so what do you guys want to know? Which is kind of the TikTok thing. It's really challenging. But here, you want to have something prepared, right? But you also want to be willing to throw it out the window if people are engaged and asking questions about different things, right? Number 5 is the one that I love telling people because no one believes it. No one believes it until they do it and nothing blows up and they don't die, right? Number 5 is know that mistakes actually make you relatable. They don't hurt your brand. Okay. I'm actually funny. Like I normally, when I'm talking about stuttering and stammering, I tend to stutter and stammer more. It's not something that I do all the time, but when I get nervous, when I'm talking about something, or if I'm talking about being nervous, I somehow get intrinsically nervous. It's a weird reflection thing. But whenever I do, I know it makes me relatable. There have been times when I've gone live where I've completely forgotten what the point was. Like I wrote it in the description and I forgot to write it down on a little note card. So I was just trying to do it from memory and literally just forgot what I was going to talk about. And the chat just erupted in this like wild goose chase for whatever it was that I was going to say. It was so much fun. When you misuse a word, like I do this all the time. I use like the wrong word and I know it's the wrong word and I stop. I'm like, that was not the right word. And then I think of the right word and I say it. It shows that you're human. Okay. Especially when you provide a service to clients, like coaching or being an attorney or being an accountant or being a copywriter for their business and you're representing their business for them. Those are very vulnerable things to reach out for help on, right? You have to have a lot of trust that this person won't judge you for, things that you think you've done wrong up until now. One of the easiest ways to build that kind of trust is to screw up in front of people. right? Screw up in front of people, show that, hey, I'm human, I'm fallible, I screw up all the time in small ways, and I don't get bent out of shape about it for myself. So if I don't get bent out of shape about it for myself, I'm probably not going to judge you for doing the same thing. And what's wild is showcasing that you're okay with mistakes. Hi, David Fryman. Welcome. Showcasing that you're okay with mistakes allows for people to make mistakes around you. It lets them feel like mistakes are welcome in your world, and that, you know, they can get on the phone with you and you're just going to be a normal human. You know, if you think about it, you know, if you have a goal of losing weight and looking like really good all the time, but like you're just kind of a cozy girl or a cozy guy, and your skin breaks out sometimes, and you really like cookies, and you know, you always carry like an extra like 15, 20 pounds, whatever. Are you going to want to talk about your body image issues and your struggles to, you know, adhere to this beauty standard to someone like Kim Kardashian, who always looks so perfect, like she's airbrushed all the time? Probably not. Okay. Probably not. Like, she openly criticizes her sisters for their weight. Okay. She's probably not going to be a safe person for you to talk to. Amy Schumer, on the other hand, Amy Schumer is constantly like open about, you know, her being accepting of her body and, you know, being accepting of the flaws that come with it. And she doesn't try to cover it all up. She just kind of is like, here I am. This is me. Take it or leave it. And we all take it because she's amazing. You're probably going to be more comfortable talking to someone like her. You know, if you're a new mom and you're trying to, and I'm just on a fitness kick, and you're trying to like get back into a body that you feel really comfortable with after having a baby, because a lot of stuff gets moved around, right? You're not going to want to work with someone who's like 100 pounds, you know, dripping wet, who's never had a baby, who doesn't understand what your body's going through. You want to work with someone who maybe doesn't have a perfectly fit body, who maybe, you know, has had a couple kids and like her body shows, you know, the stretch marks and all the stuff, but she gets what you've been going through, right? We get to be imperfect around each other. Okay. It's one of the best ways to build a business because you don't actually have to hide anything about yourself. Okay. When you're open and honest about like, here are my flaws. Here's how I've kind of screwed up here. And like, here's how I mess up all the time here. You become so much more relatable and so much more approachable. The last thing I want anyone worried about when they think about going live is I don't want you worrying about potentially making a mistake. Mistakes are gold. Mistakes are gold. And, you know, there's that voice in your head that's like probably telling you at some point you're going to accidentally say something that's going to come across as like racist or bigoted, and you're going to get canceled. And it's like, are you a racist? Are you a bigot? Probably not. If you're in my world, I doubt you are. You know, you absolutely, like, you could absolutely say, oh, sentence weird, you know, with the wrong emphasis on the wrong syllable. And people may take it in a weird way. Doesn't mean you can't clean it up after the fact, right? You can always reach out to someone and apologize if you came across sharp, if you gave them advice that wasn't great. There's all different kinds of ways you can clean things up. But yeah, you're not going to get canceled for anything that you do on live if you're not like a heinous, awful person, which I don't think I have anyone in my world who's a heinous, awful person. Anyway, so recap, okay? To go live, to have it go well, to build trust with your audience, to get clients, and to really, you know, showcase what you've got. And to get better at public speaking, you want to remember these 5 things. All right. Number 1, you don't want to deal with the script. Use an outline, you know, something that's pretty simple. Know the topic you're talking about. Okay. If you don't know the topic, like an outline's not going to do crap for you. Number 2, you want to prepare a story. All right. Prepare a story to tell. It could be a metaphor, could be a client story, of course, with their permission, or anonymizing some stuff, or it could be your own personal story. Number 3, repeat yourself like I am. Okay. You're doing it live. People are busy. They're not sitting there and like watching it like this. Okay. They're not sitting there like, oh God, taking notes on everything that you said. They're busy. They're doing stuff around the house. Repeat yourself. People are also coming in and out. Okay. So for people who are just coming in, they need to get caught up on what you're covering, right? Or else they're going to have no idea what's going on. Number 4, invite engagement, but do not depend on it. And I want to say hi to Marilyn Crouch. And let me see, in Sublime 60s, welcome. Hello. You cannot count on people engaging, sometimes 8 p.m. is like the magic hour that everyone's online and everyone wants to engage. Sometimes 12 p.m. is. Sometimes it's completely flipped. You just can't predict it, right? There are busier times, there are slower times, but it all changes, it fluctuates. You want to make sure that you have like the bulk of your life kind of outlined so that you can stay here talking for however long you want to talk. And lastly, make mistakes. Lean into the mistakes. If you garble, I can't see, I'm garbling my words. I can't even say the word garble. If you garble your words, just roll with it. No one cares. It actually builds so much more trust for you to garble your words or mess up in some way. And it's highly unlikely that something you say in a live is going to get you canceled unless you're truly a hateful person, in which case, please do not go live. We don't want to hear what you have to say. Anyway, I've been talking for 41 minutes. It is bedtime for me. So I'm gonna peace out at this point. I want to thank, let me see, Rest and Relax Boston, the Gazelle, Jet Set Yeti, Motherlicious, I love that username, David, Marilyn, and Sublime 60s for joining. And to everyone else, I didn't see any comments come through. It might just be a problem on StreamYard. So if I didn't call you out and I didn't see your comment or your question, I'm so sorry. I'm not ignoring you. I just didn't see it. Anyway, I'm Katie McManus, business strategist and money mindset coach for ADHD business owners who want to make more money in less time with fewer distractions. If you are wanting to grow your business and you're ready to start attracting high ticket clients in a way that feels aligned to you, works for your ADHD, then DM me or go to the link in my bio and book a Generate Income strategy call. Okay. I would be so excited to hear what it is that you're building and if there's a way I can help to tell you how we could potentially work together. And either way, have an amazing night and I will see you all soon. Mwah. Bye.